Hey everybody, this is Todd, and I've decided to do another CD review for you guys. A lot of you know I used to do this over at worshipnotes.com, and that's just really not getting a lot of activity recently, so I thought on some of my worship thoughts I'd post them here on the Todd blog and on Facebook. I want to review a CD for you. I've done this a couple times over the past few months. We're going to be reviewing the new CD from the People's Church in Tennessee. This is called Shine Out, live from People's Church. This is 11 songs. I know you can see the reflection on the computer. Sorry about that. And my fingers. Alright, so Shine Out, new CD. Got this actually on Christmas Eve. It came in the mail. Really nice CD design. Nice work. Cool stuff. Anyway. Interesting story of how I even found out about the People's Church. I mean, I've heard about it. But about a year ago, I started following Chad Jarnigan on Twitter. A lot of you know Chad. He's a blogger, he's a singer-songwriter, he's a worship leader. And so I was following Chad, and at one point, Chad was sharing something that the church had done, and he sent out this link for pclive.org, which was sort of the online center for the church. And so you could go to pclive.org, and you still can, and you can listen to audio of the service. You can, and this, I believe it's whole service, PDF notes of the sermons, and then video. You could watch worship. You could watch the worship team. There were a couple things that really impressed me. Number one, obviously the professionalism involved. But when I would watch those, and I watch them every week. Number two, that it just felt like a normal church. When I would watch this, I wouldn't feel like it was a rock show. I wouldn't feel like it was a performance. I really felt like that these guys were, even though they're big, they were trying to do church in a way that was right and good. And then the third thing, the big surprise to me, is I look, and it's Michael Neal leading worship at the People's Church. And Michael Neal is one of my favorite worship leaders in the world. I mean, I just love him, and I think he's so good. I think he's such a good writer. And so for weeks and weeks and weeks, I would watch Michael and Chad and some of the other folks lead, but that was just always a real surprising thing to me. So I got my Mac, and then I think that the PC Live thing, I think that so far the video files have only been Windows Media Player, and I have trouble watching them, so I haven't watched them lately. But anyway, a couple months ago, Chad starts twittering about doing a live record, and so he's talking about it, and I caught the link not too long ago, and went ahead and ordered it for the church. And let me tell you, this record is phenomenal. Worship leaders, you need to get Shine Out live from the People's Church. It's really, really good. It's probably one of the best records I think that's come across my desk in a long, long time. And I will tell you why. The one thing that impresses me most about this record, there are a lot of good things about it, but the problem with live worship records is that they are so front-loaded. Okay, and this is what I mean by that. Okay, when you pop in a Passion CD, or you pop in a lot of Integrity CDs, when you do any of those things, and they're live. Okay, from track one, I mean, it's the low synth swell, and you hear these people clapping, and yes, Lord, yes, yeah, and they're already sort of, you get the feeling that they're already existing on this sort of heightened spiritual plane, okay? Because it's a live record. I understand that. It needs to feel alive. But the reality is that I don't know many churches like that. I don't. As a matter of fact, I don't think I've ever played in a church, or ever led worship in a church. I don't even think I've ever attended a church that in track one, immediately shouting as they start. And I've been in a lot of churches that are very expressive. But that's my problem when you buy a live record, is that already, from the first second, everything is so produced that it just sounds like it's the most epic, wonderful, amazing thing ever. Okay? What I love about Shine Out is that Shine Out feels like a normal church service. And I love the way, specifically, that Michael Neal leads worship on this record. As Michael's reading scripture, as he's talking, he just seems to be leading from this understanding that says, hey, we're going to worship, and some of you are already with us, and some of you are just kind of phasing into this thing. And it's so obvious from the way Michael leads, and so there's a lot of trust and these guys in their songs and trusting that the songs are going to do what they want them to do. There's also just like a real relaxed atmosphere, and I think you have to listen to the record in its entirety to pick up that, because they've put sort of the talking things at the end of tracks more than at the first of them. Okay, so for example, there's an acoustic medley, but the song before Your Great Name has like a 50-second monologue type thing that Michael does, and he reads scripture and he talks a little bit. And so anyway, so there's that, and then the songs are just phenomenal. And what I love is that these guys have written songs that are easy to sing. A couple that are kind of high, there are a couple songs that are kind of high, but for the most part, very easy to sing, and yet not too predictable. And specifically the Michael Neal written tracks seem to have this really cool thing of very hooking. When you hear it, you know, okay, it's kind of, you might hear the 1 chord and the 4 chord, and then there'll be sort of this interesting chord combination after that you didn't see coming, but it works, and the melodies work with it, and the lyrics are great. And so for me, that's real good when you hear a song that you can immediately start singing with, which is important as a worship leader. But I also feel like there's some creativity there for you musicians to feel like this is kind of fun what we're doing here. And not only that, but it sort of broadens you musically. Wow, I didn't know you could play that thing with this. So there's that. Not a lot of production. No, it's not overproduced. I don't think I heard any loops, any drum loops in it. There may be. Just a really good, I mean, it sounds like a church, it sounds like a really, really, really talented church praise team. I mean, I mean, we would be lucky to sound like these guys. I mean, they do such a good job. It's not overproduced. There are a couple of things, I think, in the record that run the risk of sort of maybe distracting you from it, and that would just be sort of the use of the 4 on the floor intro. It's in a couple of songs, which just for me, when I hear that, sometimes I'm like, oh, okay, here we go, another 4 on 4. But the songs are amazing, all right. And so my encouragement would be to you, if you check this record out, to hang with the songs, because they're great. They're great songs, and there may be a couple that the intros maybe don't do them justice, but they're really great songs. At Bethel Bible in Tyler, we're going to be doing "You Are Here," track 1. That's one we're definitely going to be doing. "A Mighty Fortress" is one we'll be doing. "Shine Out," the title track, which is a really cool anthem. I mean, it's just a really great song. Those are 3 that we'll be doing. And then there's some other things that I think will eventually grab. I mean, I have not heard anything on here that I thought, well, we couldn't do that. It's just a matter of, you know, we have a lot of new songs we want to do in 09, so it's just finding room for these guys. Anyway, it's "Shine Out," live from the People's Church. I think you can find it online. I think you can go to the People's Church website and find it. There's a link to a little music site there. Anyway, really good record. Like I said, would probably be the best record I've heard in a long, long time. And in some sense, it's an independent record. I mean, it's not on a label. The church produced it, and so I encourage you to buy it, download it. I'm sure it's on iTunes and all that stuff. But it's really, really good. Artwork's great. Just done really well. Just a really fun collection. 11 songs. "Shine Out," live from the People's Church. So that's my review. Big thumbs up from me. And then hopefully you'll be able to hear me in some of the vlogs and things talk about, you know, how we've utilized those songs. I will tell you, if you'd like to know more, if you'd like to see more about my worship vlogs or talking about my gigs or other things that are going on, you can always go to my YouTube channel. These things, that's where they show up. There are a lot of places, but that's one place they show up. YouTube.com/ToddyRow. You can check that out, and you can see lots of stuff as it comes through. If you're a YouTube person, if you're there. If you normally don't park at YouTube, it wouldn't be any use to you. But anyway, so check the record out, give it a listen. I don't think you'll be disappointed. I think you'll be really, really glad you did. All right, thanks, guys.